Cradle, Dogs of Fount, Chapter 16. The thoughts went through his head without really catching at all. He was waiting for the coffee to activate and clear the fog. Probably put too much water in it, Arturo thought. He put his feet on the edge of the desk and let out a whistled sigh. He looked out of the office window into the street. There really was no movement, for his house was the lone one at the end of the cul-de-sac. It was quiet, and that was the reason he chose to build here even after the bombing by the spy, Hal. He decided to take out his screen to see if he had any emails that needed answering. Of course, after he could register his thoughts. There was a firm knock on his front door, and he almost welcomed it. The boredom had started earlier this day than usual. Downstairs in the living room, the stale smell of his wood furniture was dominant, and he made a note to himself to do something about it. He remembered his grandparents' home used to smell like that, and he refused to think of himself as being ancient like they were. He opened the door, and Hyatt was standing on the concrete stoop with a stone face instead of his idiotic grin he usually greeted the general with. "Hyatt, what can I do for you?" the general asked. "We need to talk, sir," Hyatt said, slightly cold. It's out the bag now, the general thought. Arturo was relieved in a way. This would be the beginning of the end of the constant awkwardness, and it was just awkwardness. Arturo felt no guilt about it, or any he cared to recognize. Sure, come on in, Hyatt, he responded. Let's walk up to my office. They both walked up the stairs and down the short hallway to the general's office in silence. Once in the office, the general made sure to keep standing until Hyatt sat in the seat in front of his desk. The general looked at his nails on purpose while he waited for the colonel to speak. "Jillian told me everything about you two. While I let you stay in my house, and even after that," Hyatt began. The general could feel the restraint in the colonel's voice fluctuating. Arturo gave a mock confused face and waited for Hyatt to let it all out. "You don't have anything to say? I trusted you almost like a father, General. I loved Jillian more than anyone, and you just perverted our marriage with your fling. I was sick when she finished telling me." Silence. "Literally sick, sir." Hyatt again waited for some response. The general nodded and pulled out a drawer from under the desktop and produced 2 cigars and a cutter. He cut the tip off one and fished a lighter from his trousers. He lit it and puffed it to start. He raised his eyebrows and held it up to the other one. "Want one?" the general asked. Hyatt was at a loss for a moment. "No, I don't want a cigar. I want an apology," Hyatt demanded. The general sat back in his seat and blew out a cloud of smoke and stayed silent. "Well, it's final then. I am resigning from service and joining the parliament in the hall. You can direct all communications to the office of Walton Overhill. I will be his advisor from now on. Good day." Hyatt made for the door. The general shot to the door and closed it before the colonel could walk out. "Have a seat, son," the general directed. "I've said what I have to say. I would like to leave now, sir," the colonel stated firmly. "Listen to me," the general said. "You are in this for life. Once you work for me, and especially in the capacity you have, you cannot just leave. It's a matter of national security. So sit." Hyatt straightened his posture and refused to move. "Hyatt, you better listen to me soon or you'll regret it very effing quickly," the general raised his voice. "I want an apology," Hyatt stated. The general rubbed his brown, bald head and hacked small laughter. Okay. I want you to act as if you resigned from the military, but make no mistake, you are going to report everything to me covertly. This will be an undercover job," Arturo explained. He stared at the stoic colonel for a moment. "You don't have a choice, and you don't want to test me, Hyatt. You of all people know me. You know what happens to the people who go against me, right?" The general stared at Hyatt for another moment. "Are we understood, Hyatt? Can I leave now? Tell me you understand and I will let you leave." They stared at each other's eyes for only a moment before Hyatt looked at the ground. "Yes, sir." The general stepped aside and opened the door for Hyatt, and the colonel walked out. They made it to the front door of the house, and the general let him out and watched as Colonel Roy Hyatt walked up the street towards his house. He shoved the cigar in the corner of his mouth and shut the door.